Good morning, everyone. So we're going to begin the webinar on Discover Your Statistic Tools. My name is Karina McNish, and I'll be showing you all the different tools that are available to you. So at this moment, everyone should be able to hear me and see my screen. If you do have technical issues during the webinar, the best way to resolve them is to exit the webinar and enter again. Unfortunately, beyond that, I won't be able to assist you. If you still have technical issues, I'll invite you to call the Centris Help Desk, and they'll be able to help you with your technical issues. To reach them, once you're on your dashboard, you have at the top right corner the question mark with their phone number. So if you have technical issues this morning, you would be calling them. Other than that, you have all the other ways to contact Centris for other needs at other times. So during the webinar, feel free to ask questions. Maybe if you could wait at the end of a section, so we're a bit more structured. Usually I cover everything, but feel free to ask questions or to repeat anything. I'll be happy to. Just before we begin, I just want to show you, if you did not know or register through here already, on the left side in your dashboard, you have the training section. And that is where you can register for webinars like today. So you can select the webinar and the tool that you're interested in, and the language if needed, and see the upcoming webinars that you can register to. So we're going to begin today with the different tools that you have. You have the Centris Counters, the Centris Statistics, the Communities tool, the Matrix Counters, and the Matrix Statistics. Okay, so we're going to start with the Centris Counters, which will be on your dashboard. So you have your listings here on your dashboard. So it should look something like this. And you have the different addresses. And on the right side, you have the three dots, and you can click on the listing, and you'll be able to see the counters. And what the counters will look like are like this right here. So you can select the property, and then you can select the period. So you can select the past week, the past month, or since you've listed the property. And you'll see what happens with your ad on Centris.ca. So this is on the general website that's open to public. It isn't a targeted audience. It really is your the counters of your ad on Centris.ca in general. Okay, so you'll see how many people clicked on the summary sheet, the photo album, the detailed sheet. So you can see here what this is on the Centris.ca website. Okay, who went further and clicked to have the detailed sheet. And what that does is, if you've noticed, is you'll receive information request by Centris, and the client will ask for a detailed sheet. So you receive an email. Okay, so that's counting how many people reached out, and then how many people went and added them to their favorites, and then how many people shared. So how many people shared your listing on social media or via email. Okay, so this tool is really to monitor the general activity of your ad on Centris.ca. You can program a report, so an automatic email that will be sent to your clients every week or month, if you would like, to give them this information so they know how well their ad is doing. Typically, listing will have a lot of clicks and activity the first week that it's listed. If you haven't sold the property and it's been a few months and you're sending these counters to your clients, they'll see the sharp decline eventually after a few months, where there will be almost no activity or clicks on none of the different options on the ad here. Okay, so people have seen it. They're not looking at the pictures anymore. They're not looking to have the detailed sheet. Okay, so you can create this automatic email, and it's an easy way for you to follow up with your clients without in an automated way, so without you actually having to do it every week. So this takes out a lot of work and saves you time, but also gives your client a good experience. So from you to your client, you can add more than one email address, put in French or English. You can write a little memo here, customize it, and then just click apply. So now it's set for weekly on Mondays. Afterwards, you'll be able to come and edit this auto email. You can, in your dashboard here, you're also going to be able to change the frequency, change the memo, or cancel the automatic email if you needed to. Okay, so that's what the Centris counters are. If you have any questions on that, feel free to ask me now. But just keep in mind that the Centris counters count the general activity of your Centris ad like this here on the internet. Okay, and don't be confused with the matrix counters. So the matrix counters are these here, so they're completely different. So these are the activity counters for your targeted clientele. So these are the number of clicks that people have had clicked on your listing, that have been sent your listing by their broker. Okay, so the brokers representing the buyers who are looking for a 3-bedroom home in Laval, for example. They have been sent your listing, and this is your targeted clientele's activity. So you have 91, it was sent to 91 client portals, so by automatic email or just regular email. There are 82 client views, and then there's there are 2 unique visitors in the past 7 days and 7 in the past 14 days. So this is, you have to differentiate the clicks here, so between unique visitors and client views. So this could be the same person that looked at the listing 82 times, and this is unique visitors. So you only have 7 and 2 for this listing. So this listing isn't having a lot of traction. And you do have 201 brokers that looked at it, but out of the 201, you can understand here that there are most probably only 81 brokers that sent them to their client's portal, okay? And then out of that, in the client portals, there are only 3 clients put the listing in their favorites, 2 in their possibilities, and 6 trashed them, okay? So these are very important counters because it's your targeted clientele. If you don't have a lot of traction there and the numbers aren't good, you probably have to adjust your listing, okay? The Centris counters, as I mentioned, are for the general activity of your listing on the internet. So your listing could have a lot of activity, but for different reasons. Maybe because it's a very beautiful home. It has a great kitchen. People are looking at the designs and sharing for other ideas. Whereas the matrix counters, these are buyers who are actively working with brokers and who have been sent your listing, and these are their ratings here. So 3 favorites, 2 possibilities, and 6 trash. So you might want to adjust something here, price, pictures, something, okay? So this section here is at the bottom of your listing. So when you're on your matrix and you're looking at your listings, if you scroll down to the bottom of your page, you'll see this little line here. Click here to show hide the counters, and when you open up the menu, this is where you get to see this information. Okay, you can see it if you go through, as I said, my listings, and then you can go to my counters. And also when you have, when you're looking at all of your listings listed in, so in a list, you'll have also the option to view the client portals, client views, and broker views, and you can generate a small little graph like this, okay, which will depict the activity throughout. Here we have about a few weeks, a month, okay? So completely different than the Centris counters. So I hope that's clear for everyone. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask or make me repeat. So someone is asking me, my counters is only usable when you have a listing. Yep, so the matrix counters and the Centris counters are for your listings only, okay? So you're measuring your listings performance on the, my pleasure. So on the general Centris website on the internet, and then when you're in matrix, you're monitoring your listings performance with the targeted clientele, okay? So moving along, in the dashboard here, you have your favorites on the left, and you might want to add Centris Statistics if it isn't already there. Otherwise, you can go into Tools and scroll down to Centris Statistics and access the tool. So what Centris Statistics is the complete report on all the transactions that have happened through Matrix or Centris, okay? And you can select here, so by municipality, borough, and type of property, that's the default format for the report. And then you could select different time frames here. So we can do July monthly and display. And you have a very big report here that you can use to extrapolate, all sorts of, information and data, but also keep in mind that this information is what is used to create statistics or graphs in the matrix tool, which we'll be seeing in a bit, okay? So these are, so what I'll do here is I'll go to Montreal, where I have a lot of information. I have a lot of transactions. So if you look here at this area, so we have Montérégie, Longueuil, and we have the different columns for the number of listings for different categories of properties. So single family homes, and below that you have the bungalow, the 2-story, and condo, apartment house, income property, so duplex, triplex, quadruplex, and other, farm, land, lot, commercial, and bulk block sale. Okay, so here we have no transactions, but if you're looking at the single family homes, you'll see the number of new listings, actives. So you have here the whole column for listings, the sales, so the number of sales and the volume, and the sale price, so the average, the median, and versus the listing price. So this will be here at 100, so sale price is at 113% of the listing price. So that's for single family home. If you're going down to condo, so this means it's going over asking price. This is 98%. So it's selling at 98% below the listing price. Okay, so that gives you the margin of negotiation. So are we selling under or over asking price, and if under, by how much? Okay, and this is versus the assessment here, municipal assessment. So I see you have a question here. I'll have a quick look. So for statistics. I'm not sure I understand your question, Brian. And somebody's asking me what constitutes a new listing. So that's within the month. You had 9 new listings here. So we're looking at in July 2023, we're comparing with July 2022. So in July 2022, we had 10 new listings, and here we have 9 new listings. Okay, Brian, that was your same question. Yeah, so it's a property that's been listed within that month. So we're comparing 2 different years here. All right, so I have another question here. So someone's asking me how to read it. For example, 4 sales, total of, yeah, so volumes is 1,337,000. So that means it's 1,337,000 divided by 4. Okay, so this is just the total volume. So that's maybe less pertinent to our work as brokers. The volumes of sales, you might want to look, preferably you'll be focusing on the sale price here. So you'll have 4 sales, median sale price is 351. They're selling at 113%, so 13% over asking price. 120% versus the municipal assessment, so 20% over. And as we're going down here, condos, they're being negotiated under asking price, and income properties under asking price, but they're also way over municipal assessment. So this can give you an idea that the municipal assessments here are probably pretty low. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. And then you're comparing here with July 2022. So number of listings, number of sales, the delay. So you can see here the delay in July 2022 for this borough was 39 days. This year it's 19 days. So we're selling a lot faster. Okay. Maybe I'll go. Okay, so I see another question. So somebody's asking, is it possible to get this giant PDF in CSV form or XLS format? I believe not. You can download the guide here on how to use it, but really it's meant to be opened as a PDF. I don't think it would be possible. I've never seen it done, but what you can do is use the statistics tool in Matrix, which we'll be going to in not too long, and that's an easier way to read and compile the data. Yeah, so people are saying, yeah, not a great tool indeed. But this is why we use a statistics tool, is because this is very difficult to read. If you're showing this to a client, it's hard to keep their attention. it is very, it is a lot of information in one place and not very dynamic, but these are transactions. So these are facts, these are the actual numbers, these are real transactions, these aren't, you know, this is actually what we're basing all our statistics on. Okay, so you can go here and you could highlight what's important, sit down with your client and say, look, for a condo, the median sale price, and you always want to use the median, not the average, is 477,000. We're going to be negotiating most probably 2% under asking price. This is what's happening right now. Okay, so you could highlight that and bring this to them, or you can generate a really cool graph in Matrix Statistics with colors and columns and lines and illustrate all of this information here in a graph. But we do want to let you know that this is available. This is what the graphs in Matrix are based on. So transactional data, these are 100% facts. So this is available to you if you want to use it and read it this way. But understandably, this is not the majority. Majority of people don't use the information this way. Okay. So I'll get to the Matrix Statistics in not too long. So I'm just going through the question here. So can we use the number of listings versus the number of sales to calculate whether the market is balanced, i.e. 8 sellers to every buyer is a balanced market? Yeah, for sure, for sure. So you can calculate a rate of change with the information here. As I said, this is 100% factual. So go ahead and interpret them and use them the way that's useful to you. All right. So if someone's asking me how to access the guide, so I'll show it again. It's simply the Centris Statistics. Okay. So you can go into Tools, and it should be in the same area for everyone. So on the right here, access this tool, and you can do July monthly, or you can do July year to date. So I'll do a different one here. And since it's a very big report, so as you notice, I'm doing a Control F and I'm searching here for the borrow. You could put the sidebar here if you want, but when you're searching for something, it's pretty long for it to upload. Okay, so just be a little bit patient. Okay, so this is where you access the guide, and this way here, we're looking at January to July 2023 compared to January to July 2022. Okay, so you can also calculate your rate of change here and any other information you would like to extract from this data here. Okay. All right, somebody else is asking me, can you choose your time length, say last 6 months? So here, these are all the different periods that are available. So you can do year to date and monthly, and for the different years. Arthur will be able to do that in Matrix in the statistic tool, okay? We'll see how it's actually pretty neat. So I'll move along with move over to the statistics tool right now because you're having a lot of questions about this data here that I can answer with the statistics, the graphs and Matrix. And okay, another question. Somebody asked me, where do you calculate the rate of change? So I'll show this to you. All right. So know that this is available to you. So the data is there. And probably a better way to illustrate the information here is to go into statistics. So before we click on statistics, I'll ask you to click on view the guide. And here you have, so it's 4 pages. If you click on the English version here, it's the last 2 pages are in English. So for the person asking about the rate of change, this is how you can calculate it here, okay? There's an important note about seasonality. So be careful when you're comparing results to always compare a given period with the same period of the previous year. So we were looking, the first guide we illustrated, we had July 2023 to July 2022. So that would be the proper way to do it. If you're comparing the month of July to the month of March, there's a big seasonality factor to take in count. So as you know, there are a lot of listings and sales in the spring, and then in the summer, there are a lot less, usually there are a lot less for many different reasons. So we're past the 1st of July moving date, summer holidays, construction holidays, all of those are to be considered when you're analyzing all of this data, right? So please be careful with that. You also need to have enough results to be able to come to a conclusion and establish a trend. And then you also have several definitions here that are available to you. So what is the median price and the average price? So we recommend to always use the median price because the average takes every single price, for example, and will give you an average, whereas the median will single out the extremes. So if you have an unusually low sale in a neighborhood or a very high sale, so typically everything sells for $500,000 in your neighborhood, and you have $1 million sale and a $200,000 sale, those are 2 extremes, and the median will eliminate those extremes, okay, and give you a more representative number for your neighborhood, okay? So isn't very long, it's only 2 pages, but very important for you to read these before using the statistics tool, okay? I'm gonna look here, okay, no questions for now. So I'm going to dive into the statistics tool. So this here is how to illustrate the big report, okay? But you have a lot more options to customize your the information here. So we were looking at, so Montréal, le Sud-Ouest, let's do a year to date. So what we would do, we can choose so it's easy. On the left, you have 3 tabs, and on the right, you have 3 tabs. So you have to do the search criteria at first. So we can I'll do condos, and then I'll go down to the borough we had illustrated here. And I'm using these because there's a lot of data, a lot of transactions. And then you can fill out, you know, if you have to, the number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms. And this is what is available to you by default, okay? If you want to generate something more specific, there are additional fields you can add below. I'll get back to that later. We'll start with something a bit more simple. And now we have to ask on the left here, so what system preset are we looking to illustrate? So we have some suggestions here. So average selling time, median price, number of active listings, number of sales. So I'll do median price. That's often something we want to look at. And now it's possible to click on generate. So I'll click on generate. So now I have this graph here. Now by default, the system illustrates the past 5 years. So what I'll do, and here you have a little recap of what you've selected, so your search criteria. So what I'll do here is I'll go on the Customize tab, and this is where everything is, okay? I'm gonna have a look, there's a question here. Right. Okay, Bonnie, I'll continue with this example here, and we'll be able to see what you're requesting here in a few minutes. So here we have the past time frame, as I mentioned, is past 5 years, and what we were looking at in our report were year to date. So in the time frames, what is suggested to you is so year to date, past 12 months, previous year, so 2022, the last 5 years individually are all available here as, so these are just shortcuts, right? And then the past 5 years and the past 10 years, and then you can customize. So you can do whatever time frame you would like, okay? And you can go to back to 2014, okay? So what I'll do here is I'll do year to date, sales price is median, and so it's grouped by primary year. So now I have a matchstick, so this is useless to me, right? And the reason is because it's grouped by year. If I'm looking at 1 year, then you have to display it by month. So I'll click generate, and now I see by month what has happened in that borrow, okay? Now you can go in the advanced options and, the style options and display the values and click generate. So each time you change something on the left here, you have to click generate for it to appear on the graph, okay? And you can change anything you want as many times as you want. So if your graph comes out as a matchstick or a flat line, you know, don't worry, you can try other options. On the left here, you won't break anything, and keep trying until you have the graph that you want to illustrate, okay? Now you can go back into the search at any time and adjust your search. So someone was requesting here to have a specific neighborhood, so for sure you can do a specific neighborhood. So I've changed something here. Now the generate option is available, okay? So obviously when you're creating graphs like this, you want to compare, you want to illustrate, you know, properties that are comparable. So you can go even further, as I mentioned. And so you can say 2 bathrooms and, you know, number of bedrooms and all of this. So these are, you can put the ask price, the rented price, you can put, you know, any other information that you would like, but by default, it's a very, it's a pretty restricted options that you have here. If you need to add additional fields, so you want to compare if they have parking lots, so you can say, I want to compare all the ones that have the sale prices for the ones with garages or with a driveway. Or, so you can click on add and remove here, and you could put, you could add, so here, a parking with the cadastre, you could add that if you would like. Number of units, you could add that. So I'm looking for one here. So you could add any feature that you need. So you could put the living area, for example, click on add, and then now it's on the selected fields on the right, and go to back, and in the living area, then you could put your square footage. And now you're only going to be comparing people who have, so I won't put driveway, I'll put garage with 2 bedrooms and that have 900 square feet or more. So the graph is going to be very different if I'm comparing with all of these here. But then if you're too strict, you'll get the notification here that you only have, you have a fewer results, fewer listings, and that might not be enough to you know, extrapolate and come to a conclusion or a trend here. Okay, so you have to be careful with that. You don't want to be too strict in your with your graphs, with your search criteria, so that A, you have enough results and that you can properly interpret them. So have a look at the questions here. So someone is asking me if the data can be exported into Excel. You cannot, unfortunately, know that. I know for a fact. The idea here, so what you can do, and I'll get back to the other questions. So what you can do here, so once you have your graph, I will do, so I'll go back to my chart. You do have the data that is here. And now the data, typically we don't want to include it because that resembles this big report and we're trying to steer away from that and have something a bit more compelling for our client here. And I'm just going to go ahead here and go into the advanced statistics and add median selling time. And I'll put that as a line and I'll click generate and bring it in the front here. Okay, so this is something I might want to, you know, show my clients. So here I can tell them, you know, the faster I sell the listing, so I'm about at 10 days, closer to 10 days, below 20 days, the higher the price is. The longest it takes to sell, often the lower it sells for, okay? So this is a very compelling graph you might want to keep. So you can either print, and you can print it with the tabular data, or you can send it by email, which will arrive in the client portal. Okay, so those are the ways that you can export the information. So unfortunately, not in an Excel, but what you can also do is I'll switch it up here. There seems to be, okay, so I have another graph here. So I just changed borough and somebody wanted the specific borough. So I'll do Golden Square Mile. There you are. Okay, no listings. So you can see the mistake. I had nothing, probably because I put a driveway. So downtown to have a driveway is pretty uncommon. So that was the mistake there. Now I put garage instead of driveway, and I actually have a graph. So I have the graph here. What I can also do, so I can go to print, and when I want to print, I can actually print it, or I can save it as a PDF. Okay, so again, not in Excel, but I can save it as a PDF. Okay, then that PDF, I can use it, I can add it in a CMA report if I'd like to. Okay, the other option you have is to save it on your screen. So I can say golden square mile. And save with the search criteria with this preset, and I can show it on my homepage stats widget and save here and see it is right there. And what I also did is I ticked the box to add it in my on my homepage. So if you did not know, your homepage is customizable. There are widgets, and what I did here is said, yes, I want it on my widget. So you could have this on your phone, and you click on it easily, have it pop up when you're meeting a potential client in the elevator, and do your elevator pitch based on this graph here and saying, look, numbers are great, selling times are good, this and that, you should sell, there's a shortage. Okay, so this is a way to keep it on hand. And the way that it's set up here, this one is set up, the time frame is year to date. So every time you'll click on it, it will be up to date. It will be, if you click on it in a month, it'll be January 2023 to September 2023, and so on, October, November. Okay, so you can always keep it, and it's always going to be up to date. You don't have to redo it. Okay, if you're doing a specific time frame, you're doing, okay, what happened here to there, then of course it won't be up to date when you click on it the next time. You're always going to be seeing the same time frame, right? That makes sense for everyone. Okay, so I'll move on to the next question. So someone is asking, can we display listed versus sold price side by side the way we do in a CMA? So what we can do here, so I'll do year to date again. So we can do sale price, median sale price, but what we do have is we have the ratios close price compared to the original asking price, the original price, I should say, and then the close price compared to the asking price. So the difference, so this is the answer to your question, Eva. So the close price compared to the listing, to the original price, is this here. So you can see here the percentage of negotiation that actually happened for those listings. So that is what you're looking for. Then just to specify the close price compared to the asking price is the last asking price, so after a price reduction. So let's say you were at 524,900. It's not selling, you're not getting offers, you bring the price down to 499, then this would be your sale price compared to your 499 price. This is compared to your 524,900 price. What I'll do is I'll put the two here in the same graph. So you can see here, so compared to the original price is in green, and compared to the last asking price is blue. So often you'll see here that when you do a price reduction, you sell without barely any negotiation here. So there was 1.5% negotiation. People that did not lower their price, they stayed at a high price, so at that 524,900, they eventually sold, but at 9% below 524,900. Okay. So this is a good graph that you can use to, convince clients to list at a more, competitive price, and reassure them that they won't be negotiated, a lot more, and that you should sell at the market price. Often people are afraid that will happen. If you want to list at 499 right from the start, they say, no, I'm going to sell at 475. People are going to negotiate. Actually, that's not what happens. If you get a good price, you don't get negotiated down a lot before you make a sale. All right, so that was that question. So somebody's asked me, can you save your searches? So I think I responded to that before I read your question here. So of course, you can go here and save. I can say golden square. So I can do ratios. So ratios sold versus asking. So you can give it a different title here. Okay, my pleasure. So somebody's asking me, can this chart show how many listings sold? Yeah, for sure. So in all the different presets that you can illustrate are these here. So you have active listings by volume, the number of active listings, the asking price, so average or median. So again, prefer the median. The two ratios we just looked at here, number of expired listings, number of new listings, and median sale price, and number of sales. So this is the answer to your question, Bonnie. So we do number of sales, and we could do a number of new listings. Okay, so we have here number of sales in green. So that's the answer to your question, Bonnie. So we had so 14 in January, then 18, 24, 26. So sales have been going up until June, slowing down a little bit since July. This is for this type of property in this borough precisely, okay? And then compared to the number of new listings, so there were a lot more certain months here of the year, okay? Now somebody's asking me, how am I showing the percentage at the top of the columns? So I have two answers for that, Tamara. So either using the ratios here, that will give you the percentages. There you go. Second answer to your question is in the style options, you display values. If I don't display values, I'll just see the columns, and then I sort of have to read, the graph, with the lines and sort of approximately come to a conclusion. If you display the values, you then have a very specific graph, and it's very easy to read. So either percentages or numbers. I'm not sure what the question was, but I think, yeah, okay, great, I answered. Yeah, so in the style options, display values. Okay, so somebody else is asking me, right, so Brian is asking me a question that I get a lot. So is there a metric of sale price versus municipal evaluation in matrix statistics? There is not, and it wouldn't be useful. So municipal assessment, unfortunately, clients do look at that, but it has nothing to do with market value. It's for tax purposes only. And even if you dig into how the cities determine your municipal assessment, it really has nothing to do with. They actually base themselves on the market value, but with a pretty big delay. So municipal assessment really has nothing to do and with market value. So that's one answer. But the official answer to your question is no. There is no. There's no metric for that. It really is what is here, okay? So I'm hoping that's pretty clear for everyone. So you have a lot of options here, and you can dig into to all the different options here. in the advanced and in the style options that you need to open here. So go ahead and try things. That's the best way to learn. Now, what I do want to show you, the last thing, is the communities tool. Okay, so a little extra that that we can offer clients. It could be more often for buyers that are arriving to a neighborhood that they don't know much about, arriving to the country, the city. It could be a good way to give them the information. So there are two ways to access the tool. So from your dashboard, again, you can go into tools. You can have the communities in your favorites. So if you go on to tools, you can scroll down to communities and access the tool. And what will happen here is you'll open up the tool here, and notice I'm not logged in. So this is actually available publicly to everyone, to the public, right? So they can come here and you can, if they reach out to you, you can tell them, well, you want to move to Montreal, maybe have a look at neighborhoods that that might interest you, and then see if that's what suits you. So you can select the municipality here and see the so population by age, household income, household size, family types, and maybe something that'd be interesting for someone who's, in my example here, who's arriving, is the spoken languages. So if it's majority of French and your client doesn't speak French at all, might not be the ideal neighborhood, or maybe it is if they want, full immersion. But this is the information that's available to you and to them. So for you to share this information, you can either share the link, you can do screenshots and send them by email, print if you're printing. And this is based off the Statistics Canada census. Okay, so you can select any area here and see the different information. You have the real estate statistics. And then the other way to access this information is from a listing. So here I'm a listing in Montréal Nord and Montreal. I can go, if you, at the top right corner, you hover over the icons, you'll see here that the communities icon is there. And what will happen is it will give you, to open up the same tool, but give you the information concerning the surroundings of this specific property. So 6335 Boulevard Gouin. All right. So you have so a bit of information here. So what's this? Driving. What's the score? What's the walk score? And then the community profile is here. Okay. And the real estate statistics are also there for that neighborhood. Okay. So this here, as I mentioned, is is based on the 2016 census. Okay, so it hasn't been updated since the last census, which I believe was in 2020. Okay, you do have the real estate statistics though that are up to date. So that is second quarter 2023, last 4 quarters that are listed there. Okay, so that covers everything I had to show you today. So what we looked at, just to sum it up, is we looked at the Centris counters. So Centris counters, the general activity of your Centris ad on the internet, which you can share to your client in an automatic email. Then we had a look at the matrix counters, which are the specific counters for your targeted clientele. So clients who are actively looking for what you're selling, a 3-bedroom home, Montreal, neighborhood of X. And so very important information. We had a look at the Centris Statistics. So this big report here that is used to generate what we saw afterwards, the statistics, okay? And then we had a pretty good look at the statistics tool here, which you can look into even more, and the communities that we just saw. So if you have any questions or anything you'd like me to repeat, I'd be happy to. I'll stay on for about a minute or so. Otherwise, thank you for attending the webinar today. You do have, as I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, the contact information to reach Centris here if you have any other questions, or if you like private consultations or any other need. And keep an eye on the training section to see all the different webinars that are coming up and that you can register and attend.